Day number 9. Day number 9, community helps you find your purpose. Community helps you find your purpose. Getting ready here to serve communion. Our curbside communion's going on till starting in about 10 minutes here till 11:30 this morning. So if you want communion and community, you stop on by here at the church here this morning. We'll be ready to serve you that great gift that brings us together in Christ Jesus. But let's talk a little bit about day 9. Community helps you find purpose. And I love this quote here. The question of purpose has been around since the beginning of time. In his book, The Call, Os Guinness explains that there are multiple answers to our question about purpose, but each answer depends first and foremost on what you believe. And for Christians who we believe in, Guinness says the biblical answer is that an infinite personal God has created us in his image and calls us into relationship with himself. Our life purpose therefore comes from two sources at once: who we are created to be and who we are called to be. Who we are created to be and who we are called to be. Called to be. You know, you've been claimed in the waters of your baptism. God himself has made a claim over you in water and the word, saying, this child, this person, this adult, whoever age you were when you were baptized, this one's mine. They belong to me. I'm giving them a purpose. I've created them and I'm claiming them. And now I'm calling them into this world to carry out my mission and my work. And so the question is, as we look at the callings that God has given to us and we search that out within community, in the Word, as we'll talk about some more this weekend in the message, really excited for that. What are those things that God is calling you to carry out in this world, and what God has given to you? Zach says in here, the thing I like to remind you here, find people who are living for a noble cause and join them for something bigger than ourselves. I think if you've ever been on a mission trip, especially if you've been on a mission trip where you're serving people who maybe don't have the same things that you don't have the same resources, don't have the same opportunities, don't have the same things that you've been entrusted with. But if you've been on one of our trips to Guatemala, or you went to Haiti, or you went to Costa Rica, or been over to Mexico and some of the things over there, in all those different places, when you get out of your comfort zone and you go in to serve, there's something in there that while you're blessing that community, that changes you. If you've never been on a mission trip, I encourage you to do that. We got more that are coming up, planning with Casas por Cristo in Mexico, doing some home building a house in a week. Our guys that went over there and did that recently over by Del Rio was an incredible experience, and they can't wait to share more about that and more opportunities to do that. Partnering with local churches in the faith community. It's not built in isolation, it's built in community, so that we can bring all of those things together to the glory of God. But it's also what it does. When you come back, your eyes are open to the things around you, the opportunities that God is putting before you, even in these realms of influence that he's given to you. So I like the question, the challenge for the day is, what really pulls on your heartstrings? If you had to live for a cause, what cause would you live for? Okay? Don't come with, no, here's the first thing you think about. The first thing you think about when you think about that is you come up with excuses about why you can't. Don't tell me why you can't. Tell me what, if you had to really live, if you had to live for a cause, what would you live for? What would you live for? What gets your gut? I like to say, what just turns inside you when you see something, you say, that's an issue. That's a thing I want to solve. I don't know how. I might not know how yet, but that's something I want to work on. I want to devote my life to. I want to devote my resources to. What gets your heart? What gets your gut? What pulls on your heartstrings? And see what that is. What is it? Explore the world around you, not with excuses, but with opportunities to serve, because of who you are. You are a child of the Most High God. He claimed you the water of baptism. He wants to feed you at his table today, curbside, or he feed you this weekend in our worship as we talk more about it. But what gets your heartstrings? Because God's hearts and eyes are for the world. I love those Bible passages he quotes there, right? You heard him, Psalm 82:3, defend the weak and the fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. Micah 6:8, he has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Mark 16:15, Jesus declares, go to the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. And James 1:27, religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. We're in the world, but we're not of the world. And so while we're in the world, we have a difference to make until that time that our Savior Jesus calls us into his presence. So what pulls your heartstrings? Well, what gets your gut? Sometimes I think we've been seeing in these opportunities we've been having to do these food distributions. You've been saying, you've been overwhelming in the incredible support. You guys have been coming out and doing it, and let's just keep going because we're going all the way, I think, to December. We've got approval to do that, and as soon as we get the details, we'll share those on those distributions. But it's been awesome. I mean, I don't know about you, but every time I see people serving, it's just like, it's not like extra work. It's like a joy to be able to do that, to be able to put food in people's cars that you know is healthy, that's going to help them in their life, to tell them God bless you, to share with them a prayer, to just to share a smile, an eye smile, right? I know it doesn't feel like a real smile because you're smiling through a face mask, but your actions sure do show a smile, and sure do show that you are caring for those who are in need in these moments, and those of you who have been able to deliver them to people's houses. That has been incredible too. So you're living for a cause. So let's choose that cause wisely so that what you're doing impacts not just time, but it impacts eternity as well, because you are the witnesses of Jesus Christ, and not just me in my vocation as a pastor, but you in your vocation as a son, as a daughter of the Most High God, who has claimed you. He loves you with an everlasting love, and he's invited you to follow him in this world on mission for him. So let's follow well this day. I hope to see you soon, either this morning at communion or this weekend in worship, and we'll still be coming to you with worship online too. It's exciting time this weekend. We talk about studying scriptures. We're going to celebrate too our friends at Lutheran Bible Translators. It's the last Sunday of September, which is Bible Translation Sunday, and how important it is to still get that word to the people who don't yet have it in their heart language. Close to 1 billion people, friends, don't have a complete Bible in their heart language. And Lutheran Bible Translators and others like them are working to make a difference in community. That's why they do that translation in community, not in isolation off somewhere, but they work in the community alongside the people, writing down that language. And we'll share a little bit of their story. In fact, next week, I'm going to talk to one of my buddies who's been with Lutheran Bible Translators for a number of years now, who worked in the field in Botswana, and now he works in the domestic office, continuing to raise up new leaders and new opportunities, and he'll share a little bit about that, and we'll have him join me next week on one of our devotions, or it might not be during the devotion, it might be at a separate time and a live stream kind of interview streaming live here on our social media platform. So looking forward to that as well. So hopefully you got to day 9 of the Being Challenged. Don't be discouraged if you're behind, or I know I was talking just to one of my kids this morning that got a little behind in the Kids Challenge. We still have some Being Kids Challenge. If you need one of those, love to put one of those in your hands. And we still have some regular challenges too. I mean, there's not many left, honestly, of the books. So there were 350 of them. So if you wonder how many people are on this journey with you connected to St. Paul and Harlingen, there's 350 of you. Woohoo! That's awesome. Okay, and you see what we've got left. Not very many, but let's get them into people's hands. Let's let them join us on this journey, and let's be those people in community who are filled with compassion. And tomorrow we're going to talk about community in a digital world. Appropriate because we're doing this digitally. So we're praying for you, praying that God's blessing is working in your heart and your mind during this. Don't get too down on yourself. If one of the days is too hard or seems overwhelming, we all have that. We all have things that are going to hit us, that are going to feel like a burden. But keep going through it, because it's not going to be a burden. It's a blessing. We're putting in these unforced rhythms of grace that Jesus invites us into, to live an abundant life in him. My time is up. It's just about 8:30, and I'm getting ready for the first person in my community to stop by for that celebration of communion and that assurance that you are his. You're in his family. You're welcome to his table, and you're a child, and you're a child in his family, and you're part of his kingdom. God's blessing.